Hey, it's Rav. Welcome to the Everyday Investor TV show, the show that teaches all of us how to grow our money. Each week, we bring in an everyday expert to teach us, everyday people, a different strategy. Remember, whenever you're offered any type of investment opportunity, you always want to ask 4 questions. 1, what is the return on investment? 2, when do you get that return along with the money that you put in? 3, what is the minimum investment amount needed? And 4, what is the risk? What is the downside? The reason we do this show is because often the challenge is that we take our precious time, we go to work, we get paid in order to provide. You ask, what's the challenge? Well, if we have a job, we're blessed. I really believe that, but wouldn't it be great if money could make us money? You could take that precious time and you could spend it with family, friends. You could engage in a purpose that's greater than yourself, still keep your job, have a hybrid of both. Thanks so much for watching. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Coming up on today's episode, we're talking to Danielle, who's teaching us about having the right mindset.
So I have a theory, and this comes based on my experience. The reason why people don't pull the trigger is because they don't have enough confidence. And the reason why they don't have enough confidence is because they don't have enough knowledge. And that's the gap that I'm filling.
Hey, it's Sarah Larby here. Did you know that if you are selling your home or investment property, one of our preferred agent partners will sell it for you for free? That's right, 0 commissions. Head over to our website, everydayinvestor.com, to find out more.
Hey, it's Kyle Ford from Canada's Mortgage Choice. I want to talk to you guys about your upcoming renewals. On average, your existing lender will send you a renewal about 6 months in advance. It's absolutely critical that we don't just sign and accept the first offer that we get. Before you talk to that original lender, reach out to myself and team here at Canada's Mortgage Choice. We can help analyze your current situation, your current lender's offering, as well take it to the market and compare with the other options. More than anything right now, it is not all about interest rate. The most important thing to my clients is their monthly payments. And when you compare just your mortgage rate with all or any other debts that you may have, paying a slightly higher rate or restructuring your overall debt portfolio may be able to lower your monthly costs and give you payment stability for the next couple of years. If this sounds like something that we can help with, make sure to reach out to myself and team here at Canada's Mortgage Choice.
Hey, it's Rav. A few years ago, I learned how to trade stock options by taking the Theta trading course. My son, my friends, myself, all of us benefited immensely by applying their strategies, and I want you to have that same benefit by taking their course as well. I'm not receiving any monetary benefit whatsoever by telling you this. It's just that, as you know, I believe that knowledge mitigates risk. Visit their site to find out more. Hey, it's Rob. Welcome back to Everyday Investor. We're talking to my friend Danielle. Danielle, thank you so much for being on the show with me.
It's an honor to be here, Rav. An absolute honor.
Yes, a few months ago, we were at a Synergy Mastermind in Quebec City, beautiful place. I'd never been there, and we got talking. And you know, one of the things that really was just really inspirational was your son was there. I mean, tell me about your son and how old he is, and why did he want to come with mom to a real estate mastermind?
You know, that is a loaded question. What I want to tell you about my son, everybody is coming to me and telling me that I did such a great job. And honestly, Rav, it's all him. He just makes me look good as a mom. He's just such a great kid. Ultimately, I think if, you know, everybody who knows me knows that I eat, live, breathe real estate. It is my life. I love it. It's my passion. And it trickles into my personal life and a lot of mindset stuff as well. And so being the kid of an entrepreneur, it's really hard for him to fit into the box that our education system provides for our kids. And he's seeing those restrictions. So he's kind of latching on to me a little bit more and saying, hey, I want to learn a little bit more. And so this opportunity came up for him. He volunteered in the room. He got to network with amazing people like yourself and all the Synergy members and the founders, and really opened up doors for him. And that's really something that I'm really passionate about, is helping our youth become entrepreneurs and understand financial literacy. So that's something that I'm now building into my business, so that we can have a business built by intention and really have an impact.
Yeah, and so speaking about your business, I mean, it's right behind you there, Strategic Success Consulting, and you see a lot of gaps in the market, and there's a lot that you want to do, and you're just about to really launch this part. But kind of, let's rewind a little bit. How did you start? What are the different things you kind of did, and how did you get here?
So my journey started back in 2013 when I went into education and just learning about real estate, because I knew, and your audience, there's a lot of people out there, Rav, and they can identify with this. There's something missing in your life, and you know that you need to make a shift. You don't know what it is, and you start sniffing around, and that's what I did. And ultimately, I've always been attracted to real estate. Real estate just has something about it. We know that it's going to empower us if we learn how to work the business well. So I legitimately launched 2 years of my life into education. I just called it going back to school. And I was, at the time, there wasn't a lot up here in Canada. I was going to the States every 4 to 6 weeks, spending anywhere from 4 days to a week there. And I just immersed myself into learning, and then came up here and I started flipping. So I flipped for 5 years. Then I pivoted at the beginning of COVID into multifamilies, and I did what I knew best. I bought distressed properties, and I ended up buying multifamilies. And I'm like, yep, still not what I want to do. So we're offloading that. And now I'm going to be going into new builds, which is what I want. So I want to have purpose-built new builds. And that's when we go back into building our real estate portfolio. That's what we're going to do. But right now, my focus, one of the main reasons why we're offloading the port, because we could just keep it, but it takes a lot of my time to manage the current portfolio. And I am really passionate about helping and educating others. And so I really wanted to launch Strategic Success properly and not just do a little bit of side coaching. I actually want to impact as many people as I can.
No, I love that. Tell me a little bit about the purpose built. So you're going to you're buying the land, and you're going to build, a 10-plex, a 20-plex, 200 plexes. Like, what are you thinking in terms of that?
So actually, I'm a big collaborator, and I think together we're better. I think we can empower each other and grow businesses together. 1 + 1 = 3 in business. And so I'm actually aligning myself with several groups of land developers who develop the land but don't have the capacity or the skill set to be able to build. And so now what we're doing is we're saying, hey, do you want to keep this on the back end and maybe own real estate and build your portfolio? And they're like, yeah, like we're all over that. So now what we're doing is we're actually building out the structure of what that looks like and the roles and responsibilities. And that's very important when you're joint venturing or partnering with people, to have clearly defined roles and responsibilities for each partner and everybody that's going to be under them that they're responsible for managing. And so that's what we're building right now. So essentially, we're going to have the land developers that deal with the acquisition, do the land development, bring the land to SPA, which is site plan approval. And then from there, we're going to step in and start getting the architect in there, start getting the drawings, the permits, and then we're going to take over and do the build. And then we'll have a separate partner that specializes in project management to do the management of the asset and then manage the managers and all the tenant and maintenance issues and whatnot. But having everybody who's clearly in their lane, they can just rinse and repeat, get really, really good at what they do. And then it's almost like an assembly line, right? And that's what I want, because I'm a big systems person. So if you lay out a system and processes to follow, that's how corporations work. And there's no reason why small businesses shouldn't work this way. You have systems and processes. And I mean, I sing this at the top of every mountain I can get on. Systems systems and processes will reduce your risk and limit your liabilities because people have something to fall on and to follow. So it's very clearly defined. So that's what I'm working on right now on the realty side while we're relaunching Strategic Success.
What do you mean relaunching?
Well, I started doing some coaching and consulting on the side under the Strategic Success brand, but I never really got the traction to fulfill the vision that I had. And that was because I was stuck in the realty. That was because I was busy flipping. And then I was busy doing multifamily acquisitions and dealing with inherited tenants and going to the LTB and dealing with contractors and doing the BRRRR on the projects and dealing with drawings and the city. And so I'm, being the only partner out of my group that is in it full time because I am a full-time real estate investor. I just did everything. And so I'm just saying from my experience, and if anybody out there is listening, I'm telling you right now, if you can work with partners and leverage their skill set and just find your lane, find what you're really good at, and then find somebody else who's really good at their lane, and then come together, you can just multiply and scale up on a massive level. So that's what we're doing. And with Strategic Success, between the speaking engagements that I do, between the flips that I was doing, and trying to do some coaching and consulting, like I just was spending more time scrambling, I think. And unfortunately, myself and many others out there just take way too long to really identify that and see the value in partnering with people.
No, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to figure out what your genius is, what God's given you as a gift set. And, and it can change also in different seasons. I mean, I love teaching. I love teaching people, inspiring them, spiritual intimacy, relational wealth, and then of course, financial peace through investing. So, it is hard to find what your lane is at times. And people think, I can have 10 lanes, which me and know that, one or two at most. So with this, I have two questions actually. Why new build as opposed to the multifamily? I think you answered in terms of, the headaches of tenants perhaps, but talk to me about that. And then secondly, with the new builds, with many partners, are you the CEO? Are you the chief? Are you the chef in the kitchen? And then you'll help manage? Because you do have to have one point person, I would think. So talk to me about both those things. Multifamily versus new build, and then who's the boss?
So when we're looking at new build, for your first question, I'm going to be doing one of two. It's either going to be new build and multifamily, or it's going to be new build self-storage. And I'll start with the multifamily for one. The multifamily is because, especially here in Ontario, and I'm not sure how far your audience goes, but for those of you that are outside of Ontario, we have very strict landlord and tenant rules, and they're favored in the tenant side. So it's very difficult when a tenant is non-paying to get them out. But we're also under rent controls. And so what happens is one of two things. The rent controls, with the spread of market rent going up exponentially higher, and then we can only increase our rent annually at a small percentage, and typically it's less than 2%. I think the max is 2.5% as per the Residential Tenancies Act, the max, and it's only ever been exercised once, which happens to be this year. So we're typically under 2% that we're allowed to increase, but market rents go up exponentially. So then what happens is you end up with a gapping, and those tenants end up never leaving, because after they've been there for 5 or 6 years, the rent is extremely high for them to leave. They have low rent where they're at, and going somewhere else, there's a huge gap of maybe $200-$300, which is massive. And so at the end of the day, I want to avoid that gapping, and doing new builds will allow us, because we're not under those rent controls, because new units don't have that issue. And so we'll be able to, only once a year we can increase the rent, but we'll be able to increase the rent and stay to market rents, which does a couple of things. One is it allows us to protect the value of the building, because when you have a multi-unit, the value of the building is correlated with the net operating income, which is how much money you're bringing in rent. And so at the end of the day, if we're having that gapping, we're going to devalue the property. And the second thing is when you're devaluing the property in tenants, there's no turnover. You're also going to start abusing the property because there's not enough money to properly maintain it. So having that tenant turnover, keeping the market rents, those are the things that attract me to the new build. And that's why we're choosing to move into that. There's also another benefit to changing asset classes and going to a Class A building that's a new build like that. You got a high market rent. Therefore, you're having good quality tenants. And then in 12 or 15 years, which I imagine will be wanting to offload, partners are going to want to retire or maybe cash out. If we're going to have a very attractive, saleable property. And so these are all the reasons. I think I listed maybe 4 or 5 there, but those are all the main reasons why we're going into this asset class and doing new builds. The other thing is too, obviously, within the first 8-10 years, there's very little maintenance as well. Right? I mean, your roof is still going to last that long. The foundation is going to be okay. If it's not, you're going to have a big, long conversation with the builder at that point, and then you can hold them accountable. So there's a whole slew of reasons why I'm moving into this space.
So that as opposed to the multifamily value add, you're doing this because it's from scratch, it's newer. I thought you were going to offload it to a REIT or something, but no, this is a buy and hold play, and then your exits 10 to 15 years, so on and so forth. And then I asked, how does it work? Who's the chief strategist? But don't answer it yet. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Sarah Larby here. Did you know that if you are selling your home or investment property, one of our preferred agent partners will sell it for you for free? That's right, 0 commissions. Head over to our website, everydayinvestor.com, to find out more.
The mortgage world has changed. Has your advice? Are you looking for a modern approach to your mortgage planning process? Advice tailored to your unique, ever-changing circumstances? Whether you're upsizing, downsizing, purchasing, or refinancing, the Kyle Ford Mortgage team works with individuals and companies to custom tailor the right mortgage product for you. Working with a wide selection of lenders, we're here to serve our clients and help them achieve their real estate and retirement goals. Contact the Kyle Ford Mortgage team today, Canada's mortgage choice.
Costas Cavellos here from First Access Condos. And when you see me do a video, you know it's gonna be big. This is for the highly anticipated Young City Square, YCS, coming early 2023. Now everybody knows First Access Condos has an investor checklist. At the top of that checklist is location and connectivity to transit. And this project has both. Located right on the Line 1 Yonge Street subway, you have direct subway access. If that's not enough, you also have direct GO access. Direct access from your unit to 2 of the most convenient ways to transport yourself throughout our great city. Now, if that wasn't enough, you are steps from the 401. So if you're not taking transit and you need to drive, you are right next to Canada's most traveled highway. Now, we've talked about transit and highway access. Well, what if I was going to tell you where this is located at the northwest corner of Yonge and York Mills? You have beautiful golf course views to the north, and to the south, there's also another golf course, but on top of that, there's majestic skyline views of Toronto's world-class skyline. Golf course views to the north, skyline views to the south, connectivity to both GO and subway and the 401. This project checks all the boxes. YCS, Young City Square, and First Access Condos. Don't be second.
Hey, it's Rob. Welcome back to Everyday Investor. We're talking to my good friend Danielle. We're talking about how we can make money investing in real estate, but even more importantly, being strategic in our success. You like that?
I love that.
Being strategic in a
Repeat
sense
it.
of having the right mindset. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you got to repeat that because you absolutely need to be strategic in order to find success and be intentional. A lot of people get out there and they just kind of trip over everything. And you can find success doing that, but you're going to find that you're going to spend more time scrambling. It's going to be really hard for you to scale, and you're going to have more problems and fires to put out. And I know there's people out there who can identify with this. I'm telling you, you don't want to be in the position where you're constantly putting out fires because you haven't been intentional and you weren't proactive when you were moving forward in your business.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, so we can't just, oh yeah, I just throw a little money with my financial advisor and I do this and I do that. No, if you really want to grow your money, and that's what this show is about, helping us grow our money so we can have more time with family and friends and something, benevolent, greater than ourselves, we've got to be intentional about what we're doing. So no, I love that. Okay, so talk to me about the mindset, in life. It correlates just even into life. But there's a lot of seminar junkies out there. There's a lot of people that just love to join this group and that group and this meetup and this mastermind, but never really pull the trigger. I find once they've done one or two, then they're like, wow, this wasn't as hard as I thought. But what is it about the first investment, if you will, or the second one? What are your thoughts on that? Where's the block?
So I have a theory, and this comes based on my experience. The reason why people don't pull the trigger is because they don't have enough confidence. And the reason why they don't have enough confidence is because they don't have enough knowledge. And that's the gap that I'm filling. Like, that's my passion. That is what I want to bring. And I'm going to tell you right now the reason why. I've spoken on many, many, many stages. And typically, I'll show up as a keynote and I have 90 minutes, and I've gone as long as 3 hours at one rate where they just scrapped the whole lineup and they just had me all night, and we did it in 2 parts. And even then, it's not enough time for me to give you something tangible. And believe me, I pour content out. I can't even give you in a 3-hour session enough for you to go out and pull the trigger. It's not enough. And that's why I'm building the program. We're going to have, and this is the other thing, when you're buying a course, you're learning the strategy. It gives you the what, but not the how. And people don't realize that. So you can have an 8 or 10 or 12 week course that are divided up into, 10 or 12 modules. So every week you come on, you learn 60, 90 minutes of content, but it's just really outlining for you the process. But it doesn't tell you how to draft an APS, an agreement of purchase and sale. It doesn't tell you what to look for when you're walking through a property. It doesn't tell you the red flags. What are the things? It doesn't tell you any of that. It doesn't tell you how to vet a partner. It doesn't tell you what the difference is between a JV partnership is and a shareholder agreement. They don't know the difference. So these are the gaps that I'm going to fill. And this is where I'm so fired up over this. And that is why, Rav, people keep going from one seminar to another, buy this course and they buy that course, because there's just not enough meat on the bone. There's not enough knowledge for them to have the confidence to be able to pull the trigger. But you're right. For those that do pull the trigger and they buy one, they go, oh, wow, okay, I can do this. On the job training. So I just have to bite the bullet, put myself in a position where I'm forced to go find out more information. And then they start, by force of necessity, they start reaching out to people and say, hey, I've got this problem, because they've got a problem. They have to deal with it. But as long as you don't pull the trigger, you're never forced to really get into the weeds. You're constantly looking for a little bit more information to give you that confidence, right? The first one is the hardest. The first one is the absolute hardest. And I tell people all the time, it's going to be your worst investment. And that's okay, because it gets you in the door.
No.
My first one was the worst.
It's fantastic. I mean, if you watch the show, those that have watched the show, always I say 2 things. Knowledge mitigates risk. But knowledge breeds confidence. And so I couldn't agree with you more. It's when we're confident in anything in life, the more knowledge you have, whether it's somebody who's has diabetes, what about it? What about the pancreas and glucose and insulin and chaperoning in the cells and stay away from starch? And the more you have knowledge in something such as our health, the more you can, and it translates as well into investments. And that's what drives me crazy is when people say, I say to them, hey, so where are you invested? Well, I'm invested in my RSPs. Yeah, but RSPs, even by definitions, is just a savings account. Where are you invested? Where is it pointed? Where is it sitting? And we don't know enough, or whenever there's an investment opportunity. Very first question we should ask is, what's the return on investment? Okay, Danielle, well, you didn't answer the second question, but you will. Can I invest with you in your new builds? And if I can, the very first question I'm asking is, what's the return on investment? When do I get it? What's the downside? What's the minimum investment needed? Like, there's just very important questions. And then we don't have to waste time. If the investment's not for me, we can enjoy a glass of wine and move on and talk about family and kids and so on and so forth. So no, that's great. So tell me about strategic success then. I think in a few weeks or a few months, you're on stage with a couple of big players. Tell me about that. And then tell me about what does strategic success look like. And then if we have time, tell me what makes a great group, a great mastermind, in your opinion. So again, who you're on stage with, what is strategic success going to look like, and what makes a good group in your opinion?
Oh boy. Okay. Well, let's start with the mastermind. With the mastermind, you have to, when you have a mastermind, it's a tribe. And if core values, if goals, if all of those things that are important at the core, the belief system, if you don't have those in alignment, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. And so there are different types of mindset out there. There's scarcity mindset, there's abundance mindset. That, in my opinion, is like two core ones. And then even from there, you can niche it down. But if you have somebody who is all about making money and they want to make money and they want to drive that, and then you set it up, the mindset, is that in the group, but then you throw somebody like me in there, I am not going to connect with that. Or if you pepper too many people like me, you're not going to jive, you're not going to gel, you're not going to connect. So what's brilliant about some masterminds that are out there that I belong to, as you know, is that they actually vet the people that want to join their mastermind. And that's what makes it beautiful, because they make sure that all of the core beliefs are in alignment. And by the way, I believe that's how you need to find your partners as well. It's not based on skill. It's not based on money. It's based on core values and your goals. You mentioned that earlier, and that is critical, because if I'm looking for short-term income and you're looking for long-term wealth building for legacy, it's not going to jive. There's no way we can have sustainability. So what makes a great mastermind is having similar mindsets. And you asked me earlier in the interview about mindset. It is whether or not it translates into life. How you are one way is how you are in all areas of your life, and you should be practicing that 100%. So if you have a great mindset when it comes to relationships and honoring the person and honoring the relationship that you're with in business, that's the same way you should be in your personal life, whether it's with a spouse, a sister, or your children. It has to be the same way. And then you're also honoring yourself by being your true authentic self.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have these different personas. You should just be who you are always.
That's integrity, right? You're going to sleep at night. No, that's perfect. We got about 30 seconds for strategic success. We'll just go to the website and we'll learn there. Tell me about, in closing here, time flies when you're having fun, when you're being nurtured. Thank you. Tell me about what's upcoming for you in terms of where you're speaking and how people can hear you speak.
Yeah, so just like back to back with stuff. I've got in February, I've got the Pillar and Post. It's a 2-day event where I'm speaking there. I'm speaking for Infinite Real Estate Results this coming weekend. I've got the Multifamily Conference, which I'm really excited about. That's going to be a big stage. There's going to be about 3,500, maybe 4,000 people. And I'm going to be talking about underwriting there. It's all about multifamily. And I really encourage people, if you want to learn from the best, I'm just so honored to be able to share the stage with the big players that are there. I'm nobody. Like these people are amazing. And so I'm just blessed to have that opportunity. But as far as strategic success, I'm going to have a one-stop shop for every investor. And that is my vision. And that is how I'm going to set it up. Because as you travel on your real estate journey, I don't want you scrambling and trying to figure it out. I want to be there to support you and give you the content that you need to learn it and then grow. So it's going to be massive. Like right now, we haven't got the website is all under construction. We're going to have a student portal and all of that. It's just going to be amazing.
No, I love it. Thank you, Danielle, so much. We'll have to have you back and see how things are going. But thank you for having the desire to help people, everyday people. We're all everyday people. And so if we can have everyday experts help everyday people to grow their money, to be able to help them enjoy life more, then that's a great, great vision. Thank you so much for being on the show with me. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And thank you guys at home for watching. Without you, we would not have a show. If you want to get these episodes directly into your inbox, go to everydayinvestor.com and sign up. Until then, we'll see you next week. Same place, same time. Honey, I love you. I'll be home soon. God bless everyone.